hope you all are having a great evening tonight. First, let me say thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to my returning book club enthusiasts. Hello to my future book club enthusiasts. And a very, very special hello to my lurkers. This, of course, is being filmed live. Hello, my sweet sugar. How are you tonight? So good to have you with us this evening. Excuse me for just a moment. Excuse me. Nonetheless, and hello, Marty. Good evening. How are you tonight? Guys, tonight is really, really special to me. Of course, I'm in the midst of my birthday week celebration. So forgive me if you were looking for a video earlier today. I didn't make it. I didn't want to. I lean into my enthusiasm for the things I'm enthusiastic for. Today, I was enthusiastic for a pillow. So that's what I did. Now, of course, we did not have book club last week and things happened. We're moving forward. I am going to give us a recap of what we've discussed. It's a beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to give you guys a book recap of what we've already discussed. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. And then we will move forward and discuss as much of the rest of the book as we possibly can tonight, because next week I want to introduce the next book we're going to be talking about. And no, I'm not going to tell you tonight what it is, but I kind of have my eye on two books, and I'm going to narrow it down for the rest of this week and figure out which one we want to go with next. Now, as for 12-week year, we have notes. They are typed up. We are excited about this book. Of course, as you may remember, the 12-week year was written by Brian Moran in collaboration with Michael Lennington. And these two gentlemen have a background in entrepreneurship and consulting. And those two key elements is how they were able to come up with the recognition that the year-long planning session that so many people do. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Please, let me put that on the screen. Don't forget the thumbs up, guys. I do appreciate you. But as I was saying, the year-long planning and thinking, it simply isn't the concept that works. Hello, Sarah. Welcome in, and thank you so much for being here. As I was saying, the question that they pose, and as does the summary authors say, how effective do you think traditional annual goal setting is? The truth is that for 8 out of 10 people, it's ineffective. On the other hand, the 12-week year creates focus and clarity on what matters most, along with the need to cultivate a sense of urgency. And that, for me, was chef's kiss, because the reality of it is, if it's not important enough to be urgent, the reality of, for me at least, is it may or may not happen. So that's something for us all to consider. What are our priorities and what gets the most attention? I mean, let's be realistic. You don't move over for the car behind you, but I guarantee you, if there's an ambulance behind you, you're getting over. If there's a police car behind you, you're getting over. So the sense of urgency, I have important business, you need to move. That same mindset is applied in the 12-week year. Now, one of the first things we talked about was, it's not what you know, it's what you implement that counts. You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do, said by Henry Ford, and that is absolutely correct. I can tell you that I am going to crochet an entire wardrobe for myself. And if you believe that, you need to pay me $600 a minute to make it happen, because that's the only way it's going to happen for me. I am not that girl. It staves off anxiety and overwhelm as well as cause you to have this much time. No room for excuses. Exactly. Anyway, the question that they posed was, do you know how many Americans are either overweight or obese? I felt like he was taking my inventory. How dare he? Anyway, it might surprise you. It's a whopping 65%. Most people know that it is better to eat and exercise more. The problem is the lack of knowledge, it's the lack of action. Um, I'm not even gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole because for some people it's medical. I'm not giving everybody the same pass. I'm not brushing them with the same stroke, but for some of it's medical. And that's reality. Anyway, power comes from what one does with knowledge. Ideas are only powerful if acted upon. Completely true. We know this. And the secret to a solid execution is a shift in our thinking from annualized to periodized. And we talked about this last week as well. We set ourselves up for complacency when we talk about annual goals, whereas applying the 12-week year method helps us to become more consistent. Periodization, which is a word I had never seen prior to reading this book, is the core concept where we change our time frame so that every week counts. The first step is to throw away the annual plan and to break each year down into 12-week periods. How are you with your New Year's resolution? And that's a great question because we are now in March. For those of you who have chosen to have a New Year's resolution, how's that going? How are you doing with that? Are you ahead of schedule? Are you on schedule? Are you behind schedule? If the answer is at or behind, then you're definitely not only behind, you're probably not going to make it. And I'm not wishing bad on you or saying you can't be successful. I'm recognizing that for most of us, once we get behind, Marty said, see what had happened was no. With the 12-week year mindset, the reality of it is there's no room for the what had happened was. You make this, hey Vicky, welcome in, my precious. You make it a priority to set an achievable goal in the 12-week time frame. There is no room for, oh, I'll get it done in May, because May is not the time frame we're working in. So that mind shift for me works. Annualized thinking creates a perspective on our workflow that we all have all the time in the world to meet our yearly goals. This breeds complacency because we believe that we have plenty of time. So we never really get started. Annual goals can feel big and overwhelming, which for me is very, very true. So we get caught up in putting off the work until it feels daunting. This feeling is often coupled with the delusion that we think we've got plenty of time. Research shows that most business experience a total of 40% productivity in the last 2 months of the year. And as we talked about, the end of the year push is a significant incentive because they want to develop a sense of urgency for performance results. But why wait? Exactly. Why wait? Think about what all you could be doing during that time where others are sitting around twiddling their thumbs and you're making it happen. Anyone at the top of their game knows that chunking up goals and dividing them into planning manageable parts allows for greater focus and urgency. Athletes have been doing this for a long time. Forgive me, I'm getting notifications, nothing I need to pay attention to. They then allot a 12-week cycle to improve and hone their skills. We need to think like athletes instead of focusing on productivity and skills at the end of the year. We need to reassess things constantly. Within the 12-week pattern, we can get motivation to sprint to the finish line 4 times a year. Then, as with most things in life, the concept is simple, but implementing can be tricky. To help us redefine our year into 12-week cycles, our author suggests 5 disciplines that we need. And to solidify these disciplines, we need to be accountable and act with integrity. Discipline number 1. And this is the part we hadn't gotten to talk to. And I was really glad to be able to pull this back until this conversation, because we talked about a lot. The setup is what I call it. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. And I'm sorry, did I miss Sarah? Okay. I don't know if Sarah's here and I didn't speak. I'm sorry. Hi. Anyway, discipline number 1, vision. Nothing motivates us more than having a vision that inspires us. A compelling vision is where we see ourselves in the future, and it's a massive driving force. When it comes to vision, we need to consider the long term and the short term to make sure our ambitions are realistic. Developing a compelling vision means that we need to focus on our long term dreams. It's also essential to zoom out on life and focus on personal and professional ambitions. Think about where you are versus where you want to be in 10 years. We need to look at a spiritual, personal, professional goals and build them into our long-term vision. This process is crucial because it creates the emotional connection to our goals, which is what will motivate us to work hard in order to realize them. Once we've created a relatively long-term future, we should pare it down where we can see ourselves in 3 years. 3-year goals are important because they help us focus on a short-term objective that we want to achieve in order to get to those long-term goals. This leads us to the planning phase. Discipline number 2, plan your execution. According to our authors, a vision without a plan is a pipe dream. Good evening, Thrifty. How are you tonight? I'm so glad you're here. Welcome in. A 12-week plan allows us to structure our lives as we know. Structure helps us navigate an unknown territory. Making our lives more manageable is absolutely essential because we have a sense of security and stability. We're less likely to become overwhelmed. And I mean, I'll take a moment right here and say, think about the times where you knew that on Friday, not only are you going to get your paycheck, but every third Friday of the month, if your boss said, I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm sorry. Hey, everyone. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. They said every third Friday, I'm going to give you a bonus of $250. Now, if I had a boss like that, I'm more likely to work harder for those experiences. But the reality of it is, I'm my boss and I fire me every Friday. It's a whole thing. But I said all of that to say, if you were incentivized that the only way you're going to get, hey, Vivian, you're only going to get that bonus is if you show up the first 3 Fridays of the month. That 4th Friday, I guarantee you, the attendance is going to be haphazard. So think about it. If you're incentivized to do something and you see it and you know it's coming, you're going to work every step of the plan in order to get to that goal. And I would say, as does this particular author, begin by writing down what you hope to achieve. Once you've done this, set deadlines for specific tasks because this will help you with the management and your overall motivation. Now, those of you who've been around for a while know that I'm the type of person who gets up every morning, whether I'm on camera or not, and I do my gratitude journal. I do that because it centers my focus and it gives me manageable and reasonable goals. It gives me things to think about it first thing in the morning, and I don't feel overwhelmed. I do that before I look at my planner. And my planner tells me, okay, today is Wednesday. I need to discuss, if I'm going to be doing a video that day. Vivian, of course you are welcome. We love you here and they're so glad that you're here. I just got a box delivered. No big deal. Anyway, one of the things that looking at my planner does for me is it tells me, okay, today is this. And these are the things I need to work on. If I'm making a video that day, these are the things I'm going to be talking about. Most times, I make the notes for the video the night before I actually do the video, because there is no way I am going to trust tomorrow's Michelle uncaffeinated to sit in front of this camera and talk to you. I want to give you the best that I can, and that starts with preparation. Discipline number 3, control the process. This is one that I'm still working on. Begin in control comes down to setting proper controls. How do you cope when things get tough? According to our authors, routine and structure are how we regain control when things fall apart. Essentially what I just said. We need plans to guide us through our actions and keep us moving on a positive trajectory. No, sugar, I've never shown how detailed and ornate my planner is, and I haven't for 2 reasons. Most times by the time I would want to show you guys, I have written some sensitive information in there that I'm not comfortable showing on camera. But the next time I make a planner spread, or maybe I will do a community post that will show the empty planner spreads, so you guys can kind of see what my planner looks like. So, and who knows, maybe one evening when we're book club free, we can do a planner session together. We'll talk about that. Now back to this. There are 3 aspects of the process to control that help us move forward in our journey toward excellence. The first is weekly plan. The second is peer support, and finally, progress measures. This excites me. I get giddy about this because I check in with other content creators. I'm laughing because Sugar is like, I check in with Sugar occasionally. I check in with this handsome guy. Hi, Michael. How are you tonight? Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner, and thank you for stopping by. I check in with Marty, of course, because as a content creator, she has insight and information about things that I'm not yet experienced with. I have to sometimes remind you guys, I have only been in the YouTube streets as a content creator since July. So there is that. Whew. I still have to pause and breathe when I think about that. I've learned a lot in these few months, and I still have a lot more to learn. So once we determine what steps are required to achieve our 12-week goal, we need to break it down into weekly goals. Good evening, ma'am. How are you, my darling cousin? So happy to have you here. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because anyone who doesn't know or is watching this later would not necessarily know that I wear a crown. I am regal. I am royal. Now let's put that to the side and get back to work. And that's what VJ is referencing when she says that she's curtsying. Where was I? Our weekly plan should clearly tell us which daily tasks are necessary in order to generate the necessary results and lay a foundation for further progress. I'm sorry, you guys are messing me up, but I love it. I love it. Then at the end of the week, take time to review your progress. A strategic weekly plan means that we focus our energy on clear strategy and don't waste time focusing on unnecessary tasks. This also means that we meet our deadlines. I have daily deadlines, I have weekly deadlines, and I've had them for years. Using this tool of seeing it in a 12-week format has made all the difference in the world for me. And I hope it helps with yours as well. You said you reach out. Okay. Thank you, VJ. If you still battle to focus and maintain discipline, look to your peers for support. I do that. Peer support helps motivate us and keep us accountable. It really does. And the one thing that they said in the book that I'm going to take issue with in this author's summary is the word accountable. Accountable means to hold, we expect people to hold us accountable. If I tell you, I'm going to work out 15 minutes a day, every day for the rest of the year, and you check in with me, first of all, that's not your job. I appreciate it if that's what we've agreed that you can do to me. But the reality of it is, you can hold a baby, you can hold a pencil, but you cannot hold someone accountable. So there is that. Discipline number 4, keep score. In God we trust, all others must bring data. Said by W. Edwards Deming. And I love it. I love it. All others must bring data. In other words, bring proof. For those of you who may not know, I'm from Missouri. This is the show me state. You can tell me whatever you want to. But the reality of it is, if you can't show me, I probably don't believe you. Now, the only way to stay on track is to measure our performance. Thank you, Marty. Thank you. Whether it's counting steps or measuring KPIs, I don't know what KPIs are, so I have no way of measuring them. I love it when they use jargon I don't know. Can I show the book club cover? If I don't have the physical book, I did Audible. I'm an Audible girly. I have to multitask. But Vivian, if you will do me a favor when this goes to just a regular upload, make sure you leave me a message that you want a copy of the book cover, or pause. I'm so competitive, mostly with myself, keeping score, help me put myself in check. I respect that. I am going to see if I can find a copy of the book on the Amazon. I mean, I did buy it. I should have access to the picture. Okay. Let's see. Can we angle it? I'm still learning about camera angles. Yeah. Yours truly learning. And does that help? There we go. Vivian, do you see it? Or just the title? It's called The 12-Week Year. Okay. Thank you. Marty's got me. The 12-Week Year is the name of the book, and Marty is going to drop a link for the book. Anyway, thank you for asking. I love it. I love it. Anyway, other metrics. Okay, we need to keep a record of our progress, and that's 100% true. Understanding progress allows us to predict how long it will take us to reach our goals. And when it comes to operating at optimum level, Vivian, thank you for asking. We need to measure the tasks that we've accomplished and rate how we've done. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. You don't have to apologize for that. I am glad you dropped the link. I have no problem with it being an affiliate link, because had I been the one to drop the link, it would have been an affiliate link from me as well. I'm totally okay with that. So anyway, mapping out our goals allows us to have a tactical plan. And planning is essential because it saves us valuable time and energy. Whether it's to run a marathon, lose weight, or increase product sales, we need to do some research before we begin. Find a blueprint of plans on what works, what actions have helped others achieve similar goals, and write down those critical actions. I'm going to put a pin right here and say that for me, at least, physically writing things down is the difference between whether or not I retain that information and whether it's in my head for about 30 seconds and then gone. Because what you guys don't realize is I've read all of these notes out loud, and yet I don't remember most of it. I don't, because I didn't write it out. Whereas Any other notes that you've heard me talk about during our book club sessions were handwritten. So I had a personal relationship with those thoughts. A world of difference, yes, absolutely. So I'm sorry. Critical actions are those that, if not performed, will make it impossible to reach your goal. These are known as keystone actions. After you create your weekly keystone action plan, it's best to focus on weekly execution score as opposed to results. Good execution leads to good results. This metrics matters because far too many people abandon a good plan because they don't see immediate results. That's, you know that to be true. How many times have you started a new eating regime? I'm only going to eat things that end in the letter A. I mean, I know hopefully most of us are not planning our dietary protocol based on such a silly thought. Maybe it's not silly. I don't know. Either way, if that's your goal, and then after 2 weeks, you expect that you're going to lose 30 pounds and you haven't, so you drop it, well, it may have either been a really poor plan or you didn't give it enough time. So that's something to think about. Be able to do things that are documentable and measurable. It's how we achieve any goal, no matter what it is. Diets and exercise are lies. Well, first of all, the first three letters in the word diet are DIE, I'd rather. Oh, that's just my opinion. I'm sorry. Hi. Keep focused on execution and not on results, and keep score of execution. For some of us, a list of critical keystone actions might look like the following. Number one, create a sales landing page. Upload a marketing video on social media. Message 5 prospective clients. Follow up on actions from a previous week. At the end of each week, you can score how many things you crossed off the list. Over 12 weeks, your score should be 85% or more. You'll have, at that point, you will have achieved your goals. Why are you laughing at me, sugar? Do not laugh at me. Okay, laugh at me. Be my guest. I laugh at me. I'm funny sometimes. Anyway, you should have a percentage of 85% or more towards your goal. However, if you've consistently underperformed and only achieving 65%, it's likely you'll still reach your goal. Hence, it's best to delegate some of that work to improve your procrastination habits. Think about the goals that you set at the beginning of the year, those of you who did set goals. How many of you set lofty and maybe unrealistic goals because you said, I have 365 days, I can do it? You truncate that down to 12 weeks that I'm going to achieve this. I call it a snowball effect. This is the easiest, most achievable step. So I'm going to do this. Then you're more likely to have that momentum of success and move forward. Success breeds success. Just know that. Discipline number 5, time management. You guys know your girl can write papers on time management. I love time management. Time is everything, and managing it effectively is the key to being effective. Yes, snowball. I love the snowball mindset. Our world is full of distractions that pull our focus away from high priority tasks. Studies show that most workers lose 11 hours of productivity a week because the time that it takes to refocus after bouncing back and forth between work and distractions. I'm sorry, Vicky said. Michelle, this all works until you get to my age. Vicky, I forget your age, but for some people it doesn't work. I understand that. Not everything is for everyone. If it works for you, lovely, lean in. If it doesn't, sit back and relax. I'm good with either position. How can you structure your time to better to stay focused? The lesson is the time block. We should schedule 3 blocks of time into our weekly plan to help us stay focused. Strategic blocks, buffer blocks, and breakout blocks. Strategic blocks are the 3-hour chunks of time per week dedicated to your 12-week plan. During this block, commit to only working on priority tasks. Pause. This is how, when you hear me talk about me having a crochet session or a crochet block, the part of my video that you always see me doing where all you see is crochet, what you may not always realize is I have a timer set. Sometimes that timer is for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's for 20 or 25 or 30. I usually try to do it in an addition of 5-minute increments that I do nothing but crochet. I can answer questions, I can talk to people, but I do nothing but crochet. That is my strategic time block to crochet. And I don't have it in here, it's in the living room. If you've ever, oh, okay, very cool. Well, congratulations. And I look forward to celebrating with you in June. So I wear my phone as my camera for filming that crochet time. And with it, it's on a little perch that sits on my neck. It rests on my chest and it sits on my neck. And I'm filming my crochet. My kids know when they see this thing around my neck, you can talk to her if you want to. If she ignores you, she's busy. Leave her alone. When this comes off my head, that is a sign to everybody else that if you need to reach me or talk to me, that's the time to do it. It's a sign to others that, hey, mama's busy, don't mess with her. And most people don't. My kids tried it, it didn't work. I literally created a t-shirt that says, talking to me while I'm counting will be met with louder counting. Essentially, it's the same concept. Now, buffer blocks. Buffer blocks are the time to work on miscellaneous activities that disrupt your workflow. When you group these activities into chunks of time, you address the frustration of constant interruptions and wasted time. This is the time to check emails, answer phone calls, meet with your employees, etc. For me, that is the time to change the sheets on my bed, sort the laundry, and then get it started. I give myself X amount of time to do whatever it is I'm trying to do. For me, I hate domestic work. I hate it. So I set a timer for 15 minutes. During this 15 minutes, and I do this before I hit start on the timer, I am going to get a load of laundry in the washer, get the stuff out of the washer into the dryer, and change the bed sheets. I can do all of that in 15 minutes, even with interruptions. Or if I'm dreading making a phone call, then I know I've got to make that phone call at X whatever time. I'm going to make this call. I'm only dedicating X number of minutes to this call. And then I'm going to say, hey, it's been great to talk to you, but I really got to run. And most people who know me know that that means I'm done. I've run out of my social battery and let me go. Those who don't, well, they find out pretty quickly that you don't want to talk to me when the battery is empty. Then, of course, we talked about the third breakout, which the third block, which is breakout blocks. Those are the 3 hours of periods dedicated to rest and letting your mind and spirit rejuvenate. If you don't recuperate, you're likely to give up on your plan. So allow time for a hike, or to watch TV, or to read a book, or time spent with friends. As someone whose relaxation time is the very thing that I invest in and I lean into with my crochet, it's still my passion. It's still the thing that is therapeutic for me. It gives me joy. It brings me peace. It comforts me. So for me, at least at this point, it's still a whole lot of fun. But if it also becomes the primary source of my income, then that means it's got to be work fun. But it's still got to be fun. In conclusion, there is no reason, just like there's no reason you should have an 8-hour workday, I have a 10-hour workday. Okay, 11 and a half, but my day is longer than that. Anyway, really? Okay. My daughter just told me what she's having for dinner. Like I care. She knows I'm lying. Anyway, um, something Tim Ferriss tells us about the 4-hour work week. There's absolutely no reason we should adhere to an annual plan. Redefining our year as 12 weeks can help us speed up our execution cycle and help us get more done than others do in 12 months. However, it's also up to us to be accountable, to take ownership, and to focus on our time and the need for continuous improvement. Accountability is the recognition that we control our future by making the right choices. But all too often, we make excuses or we blame circumstances for our failure to accomplish our goals. All of us need to take ownership for our fate. We need to focus on what we can control and put energy towards those activities. Don't complain. Change your behavior if you're not getting the results that you want, and engage with positive people. Seek out people who can hold you accountable. No, no, no. Don't. Hold yourself accountable. Period. Share your wins, share your frustrations, ask for help to understand how to get through the thick of it, but absolutely don't look to others to hold you accountable. That's not their job. If you can stand up and walk and talk, you don't need to be held. Take this from somebody who has more than 30 years in childcare. Once you achieve this skill to do for yourself, it is no longer my job to hold you. Okay. Accountability is ownership of actions. Commitment is the promise to perform those actions. Commitment and follow through on tasks will help you develop discipline, confidence, and self-respect. We can keep a strong sense of commitment if we create the following aspects: a strong desire, keynote actions, knowledge of cost, and the ability to switch off our emotions. Are you ready to commit? Make your word count. When making explicit commitments, your integrity is on the line. We can't do it all. We need to learn and be intentional. We we become great in the moment that we learn to prioritize what's essential and to create the life that we want by taking small, actionable steps towards our goal. I'm not going to read the rest of that because it got into some stuff I didn't want to talk about. At the end of the day, I said what I said. Guys, now I can give you guys some attention and pay attention to what's going on in the chat. Although I think I did pretty good about staying on top of it all. What were your thoughts about this book for this week? It's okay. It's fine. What is your takeaway? What if any action plan do you have? I want you all to know planning out your days and weeks works is wonderful. Well, at 80, Vicky, if you can't take your foot off the gas pedal and relax, is it really worth it? Just my opinion. But again, those of you who know, I'm turning 55 on Friday. I still have a lot of life to live, and I'm sharing with you what I'm doing to achieve my goals, how I'm able to sit in front of this camera and do the things that I do and still wear the daycare hat, still wear the mom of an adult with autism's hat, and still support others and mentor and coach and publicly speak to different audiences. Sarah says she will be 81 in May. Ooh, see, I got some wisdom in the room. I love it. Forgive me, I need a sip. I love it. I love it. So, what action plans are you guys trying to work on? What action plans have you set goals for? Sarah, you know what? I think I spoke to you earlier and didn't realize that I did. And if I didn't, hiya. So I will share this with you guys. For those of you who watch all of my other videos and not just the live components and not just the book club components. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pause. Pause. Marty said, I know for me, the 12-week year has been life-changing for real. I live my life by squirrel moments, and it has helped me to be more focused. I still flutter. It's fine. Take a sip. And she finishes that statement with, but I can see a huge difference as I'm getting ish done. A man or a woman, I highly recommend, in this case, a woman. So, yes, like I said, this is, though it was never explained to me in this format, I had never heard of the concept of 12-week year. I have always worked in a fragmented and compartmentalized way of processing things. I don't make the annual goals or resolutions, as they're called. Instead, I make action plans. This is my action plan for the winter because for me, as someone with seasonal affective disorder, I have to strategically plan to get through it. Then the spring, this is where I swirl. This, of course, is the time that I get to celebrate my birthday. So I get a little happy. I get out of pocket, out of bounds. This is where I have to be careful with my spending because it's very easy to spoil me. I am very receptive to things that I want. However, I have to have a managed and targeted plan that these are the priorities. This is what you have that you can work with, play with, and have fun with. And this is what we cannot touch. That for me works and has worked for years. It's how I'm able to manage an entire family on a single budget. So that's what I do. And the proof is in the pudding. So, guys, we are slowing down in our chat, and I don't want to hold you any longer than I can. But I am so, so grateful. Truth. I am the best at spoiling me. I know exactly what I like. I know exactly what color, what texture, what amount of money I'm willing to spend on me. And I'm sorry, but truth be told, if I had an unlimited budget, I'd spend unlimitedly on myself. But for some crazy reason, these things called Williams, you call them bills. Well, they keep coming to my house and they have my name on them and they want my money. How rude. And yeah, Sugar shared this with us before. I don't really do goals, I just do. But that's what works for me. And again, like I said earlier, not everything that I'm going to share is going to be something for everyone. I'm being laughed at. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vivian. I love you, darling. I sincerely do. With that said, we've had a wonderful time tonight. I thank you all so, so much for being here. I anticipate getting up in the morning to do the video. And of course, we will have a premiere as long as the video gets to go up. And I will see you guys in the chat tomorrow. You know what, Sarah? I totally understand. I get what I can done each and done it each time. I understand. Absolutely. So guys, I love you. You all have a beautiful rest of your evenings or morning, depending on what time you're watching this. And take care of yourselves. Have some fun today. Bye bye, guys.